Here are Grandpa's 37 life-saving camping hacks you have to know. Use petroleum cotton balls to start fires. Grandpa always packed cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly as his go-to fire starter. They are waterproof, lightweight, and ignite quickly with just a spark or match. Store them in a sealed plastic bag or old pill bottle to keep them clean and dry. When you're ready to build a fire, fluff the cotton a bit to expose fibers before lighting. One ball can burn for several minutes, giving you time to add twigs and larger wood. Keep a few in your first aid kit or glove box. They're great for emergency heat or light. Wear space blanket poncho to block weather. Did you know that space blankets were first developed by NASA in 1964 to reflect infrared radiation and reduce heat loss in space? Those same principles work here on Earth. Use a reflective space blanket as a poncho by cutting a hole in the center. Instant windbreaker, rain cover, and heat trap. They're ultralight and take up almost no room in a pack. Layer it over your jacket in cold weather or drape it inside your shelter to hold in warmth. Reinforce the edges with duct tape to prevent tearing in windy conditions. Wrap wet sock around bottle to cool. Grandpa had a trick for keeping water cool on hot days. He'd soak a sock in stream water, slip it over his canteen, and hang it in the shade. As the sock dries, evaporation pulls heat away, cooling the contents inside. It's a simple physics hack that needs no batteries or ice. Choose a thin, breathable sock and rotate it regularly if you have more than one bottle. It works best in dry, breezy air, so be patient in humid climates. Use this method to chill fruit or juice packs too. Seal spices or meds in plastic straws. Spices, salt, sugar, or even medication doses can be pre-packed in plastic drinking straws for compact storage. Cut a straw into 2-inch segments. Seal one end by melting it gently with a lighter and pinching closed. Then fill with your powder or pills. Seal the other end the same way. Label with a marker or tape if you need to tell them apart. They're waterproof, tiny, and practically weightless. Pack them in a small tin or baggie to avoid crushing. This trick also works great for matchsticks and cotton swabs. Put hot water bottle in sleeping bag. When temperatures drop unexpectedly, a hot water bottle in your sleeping bag can be a lifesaver. Boil water. Pour it into a sturdy, leak-proof bottle and wrap it in a sock or shirt to avoid burns. Place it near your core or feet for hours of radiant heat. It's safer than open flames and much cozier than shivering through the night. Avoid thin plastic bottles that might warp or burst. For longer warmth, pre-warm your sleeping bag with the bottle 10 minutes before getting in. Your body heat won't have to work as hard. Stuff dryer lint in tubes for tinder. Dryer lint is highly flammable and makes excellent tinder for starting fires. Pack it into empty toilet paper or paper towel tubes for a mess-free, ready-to-burn fire starter. The cardboard acts as fuel too, catching flame easily. Store several in a zip-top bag in your camping gear. Add bits of wax or sawdust if you want an even longer burn. Tear the tube slightly at the top when you're ready to light it to expose more fibers. Toss one under your kindling and enjoy an easier, faster fire starting process. Light orange peel with oil for candle. The thick skin of an orange, especially the pithy inner layer, holds flammable oils that burn slowly. Scoop out the fruit, leaving the white center as a wick. Fill the cavity with cooking oil or even melted animal fat. Light the center stem, and you'll have a natural, fragrant candle. It's a clever way to reuse scraps and avoid plastic. These burn long enough to light a tent or cook a small meal. For longer use, double up the peel into a bowl shape and refill as needed. Strain water through bandana before boiling it. Running water isn't always clean. Before boiling stream water, pour it through a clean bandana to remove grit, sand, or bugs. This step keeps your pot cleaner and helps the boiling work more effectively. While boiling does kill bacteria, removing physical debris first ensures safer drinking. Choose a tight weave cloth and rinse it often. For best results, use a double layer of fabric. Always bring extra bandanas for filtering, tying gear, or cooling your neck. Never skip the boil. Even clear water can carry harmful microbes like Giardia. Stick tape on hot spots to prevent blisters. Friction is the enemy of happy feet. If you feel a hot spot forming, immediately place a strip of athletic tape, duct tape, or moleskin on the area. The layer reduces rubbing and gives your skin time to adjust. Waiting too long invites painful blisters that can ruin a hike. Clean and dry the area first to ensure the tape sticks well. Pack extra tape in your kit, pre-cut and stuck to wax paper for quick use. For added comfort, apply a dab of petroleum jelly under the tape if hiking long distances. Toss sage or rosemary in fire for bugs. Burning dried sage or rosemary in your campfire releases aromatic oils that repel mosquitoes and flies. The smoke smells pleasant to humans, but is irritating to most insects. Add a bundle of herbs to the fire every 20 to 30 minutes, especially around dusk when bugs are most active. If you're using a small stove or portable grill, you can still toss in sprigs for localized protection. Dry the herbs in advance for better burn. You can also tie bundles around chairs or tents to extend the repellent effect even further. Bake campfire muffins in orange peel halves. A fun and eco-friendly baking trick. Campfire muffins can be made by filling hollowed orange peel halves with batter. Wrap each half tightly in foil and nestle them into the coals, not directly in the flame. The citrus shell adds flavor and keeps the muffins from burning. After 10 to 12 minutes, unwrap carefully and enjoy a warm treat with a zesty aroma. Use any quick bake mix or prep your own before heading out. Keep the orange tops and use them as lids for steaming or storing the finished muffin. Melt sap and charcoal for sticky glue. When you need to bind or seal something outdoors, homemade glue made from pine sap and powdered charcoal works wonders. Melt the sap slowly over low heat until liquid, then stir in crushed charcoal from your fire until thick like putty. Use a stick to apply the mixture to broken gear, arrows, or even tent repairs. It hardens quickly and can handle moderate moisture. Test on a small area first to see how it holds. Store hardened globs in wax paper and remelt later over a warm rock or tin lid. Strip paracord threads for sewing or fishing. Paracord isn't just for tying things down. It holds hidden strength inside. Inside the outer sheath are several thin nylon threads that can be removed and used in a pinch. Whether you're sewing up torn gear or rigging a quick fishing line, those inner strands are flexible and surprisingly tough. Snip the cord cleanly at an angle, pull out the strands, and knot or burn the ends to prevent fraying. Always keep at least 10 feet of paracord in your pack. Wrap it around your water bottle or knife sheath to save space while staying prepared. Stand a crayon up to burn light. When you're out of candles, a crayon can double as an emergency light. The wax is similar in composition to candle wax, and the paper wrapping acts as a wick. Just stand it upright on a fire-safe surface and light the top. It will burn slowly for about 20 to 30 minutes, enough to read a map or organize your pack. Make sure to anchor the crayon with melted wax or a small rock ring to prevent tipping. Keep a few crayons in a zip bag. They're light, waterproof, and don't melt easily in most conditions. Sharpen knife on mug's rough bottom edge. Grandpa never carried a sharpening stone. He used whatever was on hand. A ceramic mug turned upside down reveals a rough, unglazed ring underneath. That ring can be used to hone the edge of your knife in the field. Hold the knife at a 15-20 degree angle and gently pull the blade across the ceramic in alternating strokes. It won't create a razor edge, but it's more than sharp enough for cutting rope, food, or firewood tinder. Wipe your knife clean after sharpening and use the inside of the mug for your morning coffee. Wash clothes using plunger and large bucket. Did you know that early homesteaders often used a rapid washer plunger in a bucket before hand crank machines existed? You can mimic that setup while camping. Fill a large bucket with warm water and a small amount of biodegradable soap, then plunge up and down using a clean toilet plunger. The motion forces water through the fabric, loosening dirt and sweat. After 3 to 5 minutes, rinse thoroughly and wring dry. This method saves water and energy in the backcountry. Cut slits in the plunger for better flow and always wash at least 200 feet away from water sources. Soap pan bottoms so soot wipes off. Cooking over fire blackens your cookware quickly, leaving soot that's hard to scrub off. Rub a bar of soap over the bottom of your pan before placing it over a flame. The soot sticks to the soap layer instead of the metal and later wipes off with little effort. This trick works especially well with cast iron or steel pots used directly over wood fires. Reapply the soap before every use for maximum effect. Keep a dry soap bar in a sealed bag to prevent moisture damage. Avoid scented soaps to keep smells out of your food. Keep safety pins for fixing small gear. Safety pins are an underrated hero in any camping kit. Use them to fix broken backpack straps, hang wet clothes, close a torn sleeping bag, or even secure a makeshift bandage. They're lightweight, compact, and serve dozens of emergency uses. Keep a few pinned inside your first aid kit or on your pack's webbing for easy access. You can also string multiple pins along a length of cord to make an instant clothesline. Always choose stainless steel if possible. They resist rust better in wet or humid environments. Grab tweezers to remove ticks cleanly. Ticks can latch on fast, and improper removal increases infection risk. Always carry a fine-tip pair of tweezers in your kit. When you spot a tick, grasp it close to the skin and pull upward with steady, even pressure. Don't twist or jerk. It could leave mouthparts embedded. After removal, disinfect the area with antiseptic or 3% hydrogen peroxide. Monitor the spot for redness or swelling. If you're deep in the woods, mark the bite with a pin to track changes. Store tweezers in a sealed plastic bag with your first aid supplies to keep them sterile and accessible. Scrub pans with crushed eggshell and water. Eggshells are more than compost. They're natural abrasives. After breakfast, crush the shells and mix them with a bit of water to form a gritty paste. Use a rag or your fingers to scrub pots and pans clean without damaging surfaces. The jagged edges help lift off stuck food and soot. Rinse thoroughly and toss the used shells into your compost bag. If you're using cast iron, skip soap and follow up with a light oil rub to preserve the seasoning. Always boil a little water in the pan after cleaning to make sure it's fully sanitized. Place foil blanket behind fire to reflect. In cold conditions, reflecting heat can make all the difference. Set up an emergency foil blanket behind your campfire, angled to bounce warmth back toward your shelter. The shiny surface redirects radiant heat that would otherwise escape into the night. Secure the edges with rocks or logs to keep it from blowing away. If you don't have a space blanket, use a sheet of aluminum foil reinforced with sticks. Just make sure it's far enough from the flames to avoid melting. This setup also helps conserve firewood by maximizing every bit of heat output. Thread needle with floss to repair gear. When heavy-duty gear rips in the wild, regular thread might not cut it. Dental floss is strong, flexible, and already in many hygiene kits. Use it with a sewing needle to patch tents, fix straps, or reattach buttons. The wax kind glides through fabric easily and holds a tight knot. Keep a needle taped inside your floss container so it's always handy. In an emergency, floss can also serve as temporary cordage, fishing line, or a trap trigger. Choose unflavored floss unless you want your gear smelling like mint the rest of the trip. Craft a lantern from a punch tin can. Turning a tin can into a lantern is a creative and functional way to light your camp. First, fill the can with water and freeze it. This stabilizes the metal for punching. Use a nail to create holes in patterns or simple slits. Once the ice melts, place a small tea light or lead candle inside and set it on a stable surface. The holes let light shine through beautifully while shielding the flame from wind. For a hanging version, punch holes near the rim and thread wire through for a makeshift handle. Shine tin lid as emergency signal mirror. A tin can lid can double as a signal mirror in survival situations. Clean it well, then buff the surface with cloth until it reflects clearly. To use it, hold the lid near your eye and reflect sunlight toward a distant target, such as a passing plane or boat. Move the beam back and forth to get attention. Grandpa said that if you're having trouble aiming, make a small sight hole in a card and align it with the reflection. Store the lid in a plastic bag to prevent scratches so it's ready when visibility really counts. Stuff sack with clothes to make pillow. When space is tight, skip bulky pillows and repurpose what you already carry. A stuff sack filled with clothes, especially soft layers like t-shirts or thermal leggings, makes a surprisingly comfortable pillow. Zip or cinch it shut and place the smoothest side against your face. You can adjust the firmness by how tightly you pack it. Use a fleece or hoodie as the outer layer for extra softness. If you need more structure, slip in a folded towel. At night, keep this pillow near your sleeping bag's head to help retain neck warmth. Touch steel wool with battery for ember, A 9-volt battery and a pad of fine-grade steel wool can light a fire fast. Touch both battery terminals to the steel wool and watch the fibers spark into flame. The steel wool conducts electricity and heats rapidly due to its fine structure, which ignites in seconds. It's effective even in damp conditions, making it a reliable backup fire starter. Carry both items in a waterproof bag, but keep them stored separately to avoid accidental ignition. Tear the steel wool into smaller pieces to stretch your supply on extended trips. Stash fire kit inside Altoids tin. An empty Altoids tin makes the perfect container for a compact fire starting kit. Fill it with stormproof matches, a lighter, cotton balls smeared with petroleum jelly, and a small ferro rod. Everything fits neatly and stays dry. Tins are lightweight, crush-resistant, and close tightly enough to keep out moisture. Label the lid with a marker or duct tape so you can spot it quickly in your pack. For extra utility, glue a piece of sandpaper inside the lid for striking matches. Store the tin near your cooking gear or emergency supplies pocket. Brew pine needle tea for cold vitamins. Grandpa swore by pine needle tea to stay healthy on long trips. Rich in vitamin C and antioxidants, young green pine needles can be brewed into a citrusy, warming tea. Chop a handful of needles, avoiding brown or overly tough ones, and steep in hot, not boiling water for 10 to 15 minutes. Strain and sip slowly. This helps support your immune system and fights early cold symptoms. Avoid you or other toxic lookalikes. Know your trees before harvesting. Add a dab of honey or a slice of lemon if you want to enhance the flavor. Cook meat and veggies in foil packs. One-pot meals are easier when you cook them inside foil. Lay out a large sheet of heavy-duty aluminum foil. Layer raw meat and sliced vegetables. Season and fold tightly into a packet. Place the foil pack over hot coals, never direct flame, and cook for 15 to 30 minutes, depending on ingredients. Flip once or twice for even cooking. This method reduces cleanup, preserves moisture, and helps flavors blend beautifully. Double wrap for insulation and fewer leaks. Toss in fresh herbs like rosemary or thyme to boost the aroma. Use tongs and gloves to safely remove from the fire. Crack eggs into bottle before you pack. Carrying whole eggs on the trail can end in a mess. Instead, crack them at home and pour into a clean, empty water bottle or squeeze bottle. Store up to 6 eggs per container and shake gently before use. Keep chilled in a cooler until needed. Label the outside with the number of eggs and the date. This saves time, space, and avoids broken shells in your food bag. Add a dash of salt to help preserve freshness or separate yolks and whites if you're prepping specific recipes at camp. Apply baking soda paste to bug bites. Did you know that baking soda neutralizes insect venom and helps reduce itchiness? When Grandpa returned from the woods dotted with bites, he'd mix baking soda with a few drops of water into a paste and dab it onto the spots. The mixture balances pH levels and helps draw out irritants, calming the skin within minutes. Apply it generously and let it dry before brushing off. Reapply every few hours as needed. Keep a small, resealable bag of baking soda in your kit. It also helps with brushing teeth, putting out grease fires, and deodorizing shoes. Wave red bandana on stick for signal. Visibility matters when you're lost or need help in the wild. A bright red bandana tied to a stick becomes a high-contrast visual signal, easily seen from the air or a distance. Waving it side to side draws attention and works better than hand gestures. Choose open areas like hillsides or riverbanks where your signal won't be blocked. You can also hang the bandana from a tall branch to mark camp or trail if you step away. If wet, it will flutter better in the breeze, adding motion for extra visibility. Burn Fritos as long-lasting fire starter. Did you know that Fritos chips are basically corn, oil, and salt? 3 things that burn surprisingly well? If your tinder is wet or gone, lighting a few Fritos can jumpstart your fire. Just place them under kindling, light with a match or lighter, and they'll burn with a steady flame for several minutes. Their dense fat content acts like slow-burning fuel. Cheetos and Doritos work too, but Fritos tend to burn cleaner and longer. Store a small snack-sized bag in your pack, not just for fire starting, but also in case you need a quick energy boost. Make char cloth from denim in tin. Char cloth is a classic fire-starting material, and making it is simple with a small tin and some old denim. Cut cotton fabric into small squares, place in a tin with a tiny hole in the lid, and heat over flame for 10 to 15 minutes. Smoke will escape, and when it stops, remove and let cool. The result is a soft, blackened fabric that catches sparks instantly. Store in a dry container with your fire starting gear. Make a fresh batch after every trip to ensure you always have dry, reliable tinder on hand. Tie 3 sticks to hang cooking pot. You don't need fancy gear to cook over a fire. Just 3 sturdy sticks and some rope. Create a tripod by lashing the tops together with cord, then spread the legs out over your fire pit. Hang your pot from the center using wire, chain, or more cord. Adjust height by tightening or loosening the knots. This setup works well for stews, tea, or boiling water. Choose green wood to avoid burning the legs. Test balance before adding a heavy pot to prevent tipping. Bring extra cord in case your first lash doesn't hold. Split pine knot to create bright torch. Grandpa always carried a pine knot for emergency light. The resin in pine knots burns hot and bright, making them perfect makeshift torches. Use an axe or strong knife to split the knot into slivers while keeping the base intact. Light the top and hold with tongs or stick it into the ground upright. It gives off good light and even keeps bugs at bay due to the smoke. Never use indoors or in enclosed tents. It burns strong and fast. Gather pine knots during dry hikes and store in a mesh bag to air out. Squeeze pancake batter from corner cut bag. Skip the mess of bowls and ladles by packing pancake batter into a plastic zip-top bag. Mix ingredients before your trip, refrigerate, and store flat in your cooler. At camp, snip one bottom corner and squeeze batter directly onto the pan like frosting. This method gives you better control and minimizes cleanup. Seal the cut corner with a clip if you need to save the rest. Try using 2 bags, one with sweet batter, another with savory. Bring powdered sugar, syrup, or canned fruit for easy toppings to level up your camp breakfast.